Hello there students, welcome back to this video series. This is your instructor Dhruvi Bhatt talking about group discussions. In the previous two lectures, we already understood some of the details of group discussions, where we understood what is meant by group discussion, set of people who meet face to face to discuss, share and develop new ideas. We also understood different purposes for which group discussions are held, different strategies for which group discussions are held, and different categories of group discussion. We understood that group discussion majorly has two categories. One is organizational GD, and second, where GD is used as a part of selection process. We understood that what are different techniques which are used in organizational GD. If you do not remember, they are brainstorming, nominal group technique and Delphi technique. If you do not understand any of these things which I am speaking right now, you can just refer my previous two videos. Today we would move further and talk about the second category of group discussions, where group discussions are used as a part of selection process in organizations. As I already told you, this concept was originated by Indian defense agencies, which started using GD as a part of selection process. Now many companies too are using this same fundamental to make sure that they get to know more about their prospective candidates. They do not want to limit their expectation just to their academic knowledge or previous experiences, but they want to know more about the personality of that person, their knowledge, their communication skill, they as a part of team, as a part of group. Because in any organization, obviously a group or a team would be working together on a simple project, on some project, and that is why their behavior inside a group must be judged upon. To judge this, we use group discussions. Okay, firstly we would try to understand what are different characteristics of group discussion as a part of selection process. Students, in group discussion as a part of selection process, 8 to 10 candidates participate. They would be seated in a room, and based upon infrastructure, the seating arrangement can be circular, rectangular or U-shaped, based on obviously the infrastructure of the room and the table. Okay, the seats of the candidates might be chosen by the candidates themselves, or they might be given a particular seat to sit upon. Thirdly, remember students that this is a leaderless group. There is no defined leader in this type of group discussion. Who then would be leading this group discussion? Obviously, the organizational member, the member of the organization who has come for this group discussion or who is commencing this selection process. The selection panel for these candidates would obviously be comprising of technical executives and along with them the HR executives. They would be given 30 minutes of time to discuss a topic or a case study. What is the difference between both of them? We would be identifying this difference at the end of this lecture. Not worry, stay patient, stay there, stay put. Also students, the selection panel might be observing these candidates directly or indirectly. Many a times, just because of the presence of selection panel, the candidates might get nervous. That is why in most of the cases, they would just place cameras inside the room and they would observe from behind the cameras, so that their physical proximity doesn't create a problem for the prospective candidates. All these candidates are aspiring job seekers, and fingers crossed, let's hope that they pass this group discussion with flying colors. Okay, but to pass this group discussion, what are the things that we need to keep in mind? Ma'am, so much for this group discussion. Please tell us that what are the areas which we need to work upon. The areas which you need to work upon would be decided by the points on which you would be evaluated. Exactly what are the things that the organizational members want? What are the points on which you would be evaluated, and based upon what your analysis is done? That is the major point of concern here. I would be explaining to you each of the points on which you would be evaluated in a group discussion. Before you go there, be prepared for these 4 things and you're good to go. First and foremost, you would be judged upon your knowledge. If you do not have the knowledge of particular topic at hand, obviously you would just be beating about the bush, and the panel members would quickly realize it. First requirement is do your homework well. Be prepared about the generally acceptable or generally asked group discussion topics. Just Google them, what are the recent topics for group discussions, and you would get a lot of them. Be prepared for common topics. Be prepared for general types of topics which can be asked. Read newspapers and be in constant touch with current affairs. Watch current news. Make sure that you are very much in sync with the outside world, whether it is national news or international news. Your knowledge is the first prominent requirement for any type of group discussion. And while you are in a group discussion, do not give a mundane view of any type of topic. Say for example, you are given a topic that should exams be eradicated in different universities, then you would not only discuss this topic based upon the examination system and based upon things in your own institute or your own university, but you would take into consideration the national and international universities. Give out a bigger view when you are discussing. Talk only when you have something to talk. Do not make a fool of yourself and try to bluff, because panel members would quickly realize it. One more thing you should keep in mind is that do not try to elaborate something which you do not know just by taking cues from others' ideas, but just by taking cues from what others are speaking. Do not elaborate it further, and do not talk when you actually do not have some points to put up. Okay, better is make sure that you carry enough amount of knowledge before you go in there for group discussion. Second thing about which you would be judged is your group behavior or team spirit. How nicely you behave in a group. You would be checked upon how you behave with other members in this group discussion. How do you recognize them? How do you make sure that even those people who are shy or who are not giving their viewpoints, how do you make sure that you get out viewpoints from them too? How do you behave with people who are having a viewpoint opposite to yours? How you are agreeable to some, disagreeable with some, how you are polite and firm at the same time. How do you bring everyone together and bring everyone forward? Not you alone, but how do you try to reach a joint consensus or a joint conclusion with each and every person's viewpoint? That is what you would be judged upon. How do you behave in this group? How do you behave with different members of this group? Thirdly, you would be judged upon your leadership skills. Ma'am, just before few minutes you told us that this is a leaderless group. We are not the leader. How can we showcase our leadership skills? You are right in asking me this. Students, yes, it is a leaderless group where a leader is not defined, but a leader will emerge himself or herself at the end of this group discussion with their leadership qualities. For being an effective leader or for being termed as an effective leader, you would be requiring two basic skills: the functional skills and the coordinating skills. The functional skills are all the skills that are required for a good group discussion: the presentation skills, the persuasion skills, the communication skills, the listening skills. All these things are the functional requirements. You must be good at this. Secondly, you must be good at coordinating skills. You must be able to bring together everyone and you must be able to stabilize the discussion inside the group. You must make sure that there is no fish market like scenario. Then you would emerge as a leader. In these types of group discussions, there are three types of leaders which can emerge. First one is autocratic leaders. Autocratic leader is a person who tries to dominate this particular group discussion, where they put up a point very strongly and they want others to agree with his or her viewpoint. This is autocracy, where a person tries his level best to make sure that everyone agrees with his or her viewpoint. This is an autocratic leader. Here the person wouldn't like someone who is disagreeing with his viewpoint. They would not feel very comfortable with others who are not agreeing with him, and sometimes they might entirely shut a person down if he is speaking too much against him, obviously. The second type of leaders which can emerge are amiable leaders. They are very peace-loving leaders. They constantly try to avoid the conflict in this group discussion. Obviously, conflicts are inevitable in any type of group discussion because viewpoints are different of each and every person, of me, of you, of everyone around here. So, they are bound to fight. But our amiable leader makes sure that no one indulges in this conflict, that no one fights. There is a peaceful environment while you are discussing in a group. Our third type of leader which can emerge during a group discussion is a democratic leader. Democratic leader is the person who puts up his or her viewpoint and listens to all others' viewpoint. He is someone who would try and bring everyone together, listen to everyone, identify pros and cons of each of the ideas. Each of the opinions are objectively analyzed by him, and he would reach to a consensus where each one of them agrees, not he alone, but everyone agrees. He would bring all the group members together, listen to everyone. Also, he would make everyone listen to him. He would make sure that each one has got the opportunity to talk, and all the people can either agree or disagree. So this is our democratic leader, and this is one skill which the organizations are looking for. So students, if you emerge as a democratic leader, that would be the best leadership skill achieved. Lastly, they would be judging your communication skills. Obviously students, communication skills are must while you are in a group discussion. Okay. What things in communication? First and foremost, clarity of your expression. Obviously, the content, what you speak is important. It was covered in our knowledge, but here how you speak also matters. How clearly you speak, how you articulate, how you use pauses, how you use proper annotations, proper inflections, everything would be noticed. Secondly, along with clarity of expressions, you must be listening actively. Okay, active listening is also an important, very important trait here, and panel members would immediately get to know if you are not listening, because you would not be able to connect the dots. Make sure that you take up the discussion from where it has ended, from where the previous person has ended. Make sure that you do not repeat someone else's points, otherwise the panel members would think that you are not listening. And some panel members are very smart. At the end of the discussion, they might ask you some questions to identify whether you were listening or not to other panel members. So students, make sure that along with speaking rightly, keep your ears open and listen rightly. Third and important part is apt language. Use appropriate language which is free from grammatical errors, which is free from jargons, and which is free from artificial accent. We have this tendency of using artificial accent when we are surrounded by strangers. Do not use artificial accent because it just creates a negative impression. Go with the flow, talk in English in general terms, just as you talk in any other language, just as you talk in your mother tongue. It's okay. You are not there to create an impression. You are there to put up some important points, to showcase your knowledge. Okay, so students, use normal terms, use proper language, minimize the use of jargons. Okay, use grammatically correct language. Lastly, use appropriate body language. Those panel members would be constantly observing your eye contact with other members. How are your postures, gestures, how are your facial expressions, and obviously your personal appearance. They would be judging you upon your non-verbal cues too. Make sure they are in place. We have learned in huge details about importance of body language. So this body language must be appropriately handled during a group discussion too. Lastly, as I promised, I would explain to you that what is meant by a topic and a case study and how you would deal with each one of them. In group discussions as a selection process, you can either be given a topic or a case study to discuss upon. A topic can be a generalized problem statement like, should exams be eradicated in universities? Should females be denied of vehicle license? Or should there be theory exams or practical exams only? Or love marriage versus arranged marriage, the age-old male domination or female domination in society, or many more topics which require huge deal of discussion. When you are dealing with a topic, students, you require knowledge with respect to that topic. For example, if you are given a topic about American politics, you wouldn't be having a fair amount of knowledge about that particular topic, and that is why you cannot just go there and bluff about it. So students, if you do not have knowledge, then take your time identifying and listen to others before you speak in a topic based group discussion, because all the topics might not be easy. There can be some very difficult topics and you might be lacking knowledge. If you have knowledge, then take up this opportunity and immediately speak. But if you do not, then let others speak first. While in a case study, you have a clear start, so they are easier compared to our group discussion in topics. What is a case study? A case in some organization, an incident in some organization is given to you along with some starting or initial questions related to that case. For example, the case of corporate social responsibility by ITC, where the entire case describes that how ITC is participating in corporate social responsibility. At the end of the case, you would be given some preliminary questions to showcase upon in the group discussion. Here you would be having a clear start because you already have a paragraph read, you already have some knowledge written in front of you which you have read, and that is why you would be able to give a clear start, correct start. This one is easier. Okay, that was all about group discussions as a part of selection process. Lastly, I would like to give you some tips about how to start a group discussion. These are different ways in which you can start a group discussion. Firstly, you can start your group discussion with a catching quote related to your topic, obviously, but you can start with a catchy quote. For example, if the group discussion is about motivating, then you can start with a quote that where there is will, there is a way. Or you can start with a backstory. What is meant by a backstory? You can start with some incident which has recently occurred with you, or you can just make up that incident. Like for example, I can say that today I was very impressed by Miss Rita, how efficiently she solved the conflict between two employees. And you can move on to the topic of importance of managing personal relations in organization. Okay. Thirdly, you can start with facts and data, provided you have correct facts and data. Okay. If you are discussing about the prevailing condition in the share markets, then you can give out the data that how much in the previous years there is inflation or deflation, or the changes in the prices of different shares in the share market. But make sure that whatever data you are providing is correct, verifiable, and from a trustworthy source. Okay, you can also start with definition. If the discussion is about something difficult, then you can start with a definition first. For example, if you are discussing about effects of GST, then you can first start by defining GST, that GST stands for goods and service tax, which is levied upon different goods and services in India. And you can move further. Okay, you can also start by asking a question: do you all invest in mutual funds? If not, then what do you do with your extra money? What are your different investment plans? You can go further and discuss about importance of investments in mutual funds by asking a question. Or you can start this group discussion by giving a shocking statement. Do you people know that India has become the rape capital of world in the previous year? The increasing cases are really shameful to the entire country. Don't you think so? And you can move further towards your group discussion. These are different methods by which you can start your group discussions. That was all about group discussions, students. This is Dhruvivat signing off. Thank you so much for listening to me. Until next time, bye-bye.